All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's stream. Today, we are going to be talking about Dawnblade Dorinthea for Pro Tour Singapore. Now, unfortunately, I will not be going to Pro Tour Singapore. However, there are some Battle Hardens coming up, there are some callings coming up, and of course, Pro Tour Singapore is coming up. So I thought this would be a good time to re-explore good old Dawnblade Dorinthea. And, well, I think this is actually a very good meta for particular warrior decks at the moment. There are two decks right now that I would say are quite good in terms of warriors. We have the aggressive Kasai style, the one with dual Centauri sabers, trying to put on a lot of pressure. And then we obviously have Dawnblade Dorinthea. Now, the reason why these two decks are very good in this current meta is because there is a aggro deck that needs to be targeted. There is a board state deck that we are very good against. And a lot of the fringe decks we are either okay or slightly favored into. Now, obviously, we have some weaknesses as well. Florian, not particularly good. Verdance, generally not particularly good. However, the deck can be built in such a way to deal with those, or we can just kind of play a style where we just pray and dodge, right? At these tier 4 events, you typically play 8 or 9 rounds of CC and then 6 rounds of draft. So you need to be good at both to do well. And it's going to come down a little bit to gem luck, whether or not you see the pairings that you want to see. But Pro Tours are often metagames where everything coalesces towards a certain point. Tomorrow, Nathan will be going over a tier list for Pro Tour Singapore. I believe as a team, we will also have a official team tier list as well. Probably releasing sometime early next week. We might even do like a little bit of an event with it on Metafy. We'll see if we can organize that. But yeah, it's a good meta for Dory, and seeing Dash IELL this weekend actually made me feel something. I don't play mech much, but Dorinthea and Dash Inventor Extraordinaire were the queens of Flesh and Blood at one point. Back when I started the game, Crucible of War, Dash IE and Dorinthea were very, very, very good heroes, and they often fought each other. And it kind of reminded me, you guys watch the See You Again Fast and Furious 7 music video where they drive together and then they go their own separate ways. And that made me kind of feel like that. I was like, all right, Dash, I'll never get to play you again with Dory, probably. But thanks for the memories. Thanks for the good games. Yeah. Okay. Let us quickly talk a little bit about the metagame in terms of percentages and math. And then once I set the stage with the metagame and where I think it's going to be, we'll go deck build. Now, normally on streams, I just kind of have a list and we go play some games. Today, I want to walk you guys through how I build decks, because I don't think there's a lot of content like this, because first of all, there's not a lot of specialists in Flesh and Blood that make content. Second of all, being able to construct a deck based on a metagame is not something that you need a lot of experience, especially considering there's almost 40 heroes now. We need to identify the meta and be able to construct an 80 to deal with it. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but that's why you're watching right now, because I think I can do it. All right, let's take a look a little bit about the metagame. So let's see here. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know what this website is, let me introduce you to this wonderful, wonderful website here. Let me maybe zoom out a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's good. So this is Blazing, Fablazing. um, this is a website that has a lot of data. Now, obviously, you can get your data in off Fabry, Talishar data, but here they actually have compiled paper data. So if we look at the last 30 days, which I believe is basically Nats, there were 13,000 games played, which is a lot. So yeah. Now, I'm only looking at paper. Obviously, we could look at Talishar as well if we wanted to. I believe they're doing some data scraping there. I don't know if Talishar likes that, but apparently that's happening. And we could look at all the tournaments here. We're just going to do that. Now we could sort by meta percentage. I think that's actually probably the better thing to do. And then we can take a look at the win rate. So we've seen now. Remember that this is Nats level, calling level, battle hardened level. The meta is going to be much more spread out. In a Pro Tour or World Championship, people coalesce towards the best decks. And it's no secret that there's basically aggro decks. There's two main aggro decks. I guess you could say three if you count Azalea. But basically, Syndra and Slippy are the aggro decks that are the most played. And they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Syndra is very, very consistent. Obviously, Arachne is also very consistent, but he is a little bit more disruption-based, a little bit lower damage, still really good. You can also see by his win rate, he is actually really, really good. And the benefit is that normally in aggro mirrors, it's a little bit of a coin flip. However, we can see that Slippy against Syndra doing real well, 65-35, which is a little bit abnormal. Normally we see aggro decks, basically coin flipping based on first, second. Well, historically, a lot of the aggro mirrors were literally hero mirrors, not like, because this is one of the few times where we actually have two aggro heroes that you could make legitimate cases for. Normally, it's like Phi versus Syndra. It's like, why would you play Phi when Syndra exists? Or back when Aurora was around, it's like, why would you play Syndra when Aurora exists, right? These are actually two different flavors of aggro, and they both have their strengths and weaknesses. So basically, that's one corner of our triangle. The other corner of one of the other corners of the triangle are these Earth heroes. Very, very value-based mid-range decks. These are decks that are slow and steady, and this is another situation where we have one of the mid-range decks that really beats up on the other one. We can see Verdant's a heavy favorite into Florian. And because of this, and because of its weak matchup into Syndra, I actually think Florian is not going to be highly represented at Pro Tour. It's going to be there, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the 5th, 6th, or 7th most popular deck at Pro Tour. But yeah, so that's another corner. Then we also have the board-based decks. So in particular, that's Gravy Bones. And we can see that Gravy Bones very bad into Syndra, but very good into Verdance. And this is a hero that has a lot of polarizing matchups. If you're not a deck that can deal with Gravy's allies in an efficient manner, or you don't have some type of evasion at the end of the game, for example, Azalea has a 50-50 matchup into Gravy, even though Azalea doesn't have a lot of tools to deal with the board state. She did get a new card in the last set, but overall, if you don't have an efficient way to clear the board, or you don't have a evasion or some other unique mechanic like Dawnblade counters, you are going to struggle against Gravy, and Gravy gets a lot of free wins against these lower tier heroes, which is why this is such a good deck in a very open metagame, because you're less likely to run into the decks that hard counter you. And here, it's not even a hard counter. 75-25 is very favored, but I wouldn't say it's a hard counter. I would say Dawnblade Dorinthea against Gravy is a hard counter. That is, I wouldn't say it's 100-0, but at minimum, I'd put it at 90-10. This is a matchup that I mean, you have Dawnblade counters, you have pressure. It's just in order for them to develop a board, you're going to get counters, and it's tough. Okay. We also have some other fringe decks that definitely going to see play. These are harder to pilot decks, but they are good. Prism, Awakener of Soul, beloved by some specialists. Arachne Marionette. This is a hero that if Slippy comes up a bit, if you're playing Mario, you can benefit from the Slippy hero ability, which is nice. Going down a little bit, we see decks like Vincett, Fang, Dio, also another part of that aggressive triangle. So I would say we have Syndra, Dio, Slippy, Acilio, kind of considered that as well. We have these aggro decks. We have mid-range decks like Vincett, Fang, KO, Victor, Kasai. Basically, we're in a situation where we have aggro, mid-range, board state, and then we have like a couple fringe decks like Kano, Prism, and yeah. And I think once we get to page 3, I think we're going to see a big drop off now. Dory, like I said before, good against Syndra, good against Gravy. I don't know why this is so low. It's probably because Hatchets is actually not... Hatchets is probably... It's slightly favored if you're Hatchets, but I wouldn't say it's like dominating levels of favored for Hatchets. Obviously, Florian is bad. Ira is going to have the Ira Armory deck for Pro Tour, so this could actually be like her and Katsu could be like a dark horse there. And yeah, everything down here, I don't think we're going to see very much of these heroes, right? Now, if we sort by win rate, we see that Slippy is actually doing statistically the best. We have Kano with his polarizing matchups, his dominance against Florian, Jesus. Kasai also doing very well. Now, this is actually interesting. Kasai and Dorinthea probably do equally against Syndra. They generate their value in different ways. Dawnblade Dorinthea just puts pressure, snowballs, eventually forces the Syndra to block, whereas Kasai can play more mid-range, get copper, and then go for a big blood on her hands turn to eke back that value while playing defensively. So I think they're both about, Dory and Kasai are about equal into Syndra. Now, interestingly enough, Kasai is apparently not doing very well in the Gravy. I'd be interested to see the sample size here, because this doesn't sound right to me. This might be like 9 wins, 11 losses or something like that. But traditionally, dual-wield warriors, if they can adjust where they put their damage, do fine against Gravy, in my opinion. And obviously, Kasai does much better into Florian than Dory does, because Centauri Sabers are very strong against decks that sometimes want to block with attack action cards. Also, you have Raise an Army, which is very difficult for Florian to deal with. And you can be at the same level of aggression as Dory. However, you don't need to hit, which is actually the main thing, is that like when a Florian's playing like 12D reacts, has access to Well Grounded, has access to Bark Skin, like it gets tough to hit. So yeah. All these heroes currently sitting above 50% win rate. This is actually a testament to how balanced the game is right now. That we only have one hero above 55. Like it's a very balanced metagame. And then we see Dory coming in at a little bit over 50%. So yeah, Let's see who's at the bottom. Oh, poor Bolton. Poor Max. Poor Marlin. Poor Zuri. Poor Teklo. Yeah. Okay. So, with all that said, we have our base for the metagame. Let's quickly catch up with chat, and then we will go build some decks. All right. Sassy says 07. I vaguely remember what that means. I'm a boomer, I guess. S tier content to watch at work. Well, thank you for tuning in. She seems pretty good right now. She hit a few top 8s this past weekend. Yeah, she can definitely do well in the correct hands. Hey Josh, I'm playing Matt Rogers' National Dory list, and I'm enjoying it. 3 of my armor on Sunday. Sure, we could pull up his list and take a look. I haven't really looked at it. I remember I looked at it like really briefly, like several weeks ago, and then haven't seen it. Keen to see where you land. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Josh, this is Joe that helped you with the PT topping Hatchet Dory. What's up, Joe? I've been cleaning house with an updated list. I just messaged you on Messenger with the link. Okay, sure, we can take a look at your list. Deck builders also benefit from having historical knowledge about tech cards. That is true. If you don't know what Shatter is, well, are you really a warrior main? Jetted out of my armory just to catch this. Sup, my friend? Oh, thanks, Andy. You're a very faithful listener and watcher. No cap, I think Fi is just better than Syndra. People are just stuck on her, but I'm fine with it. Leave Fi alone. Nobody can play it. So you can win Kansas City on it? Sure. I think one of the reasons why we're seeing so much Syndra is because Claw of Vincerakai actually pretty big. That thing is worth a lot of value over the course of the game. I don't know if you guys caught the Hong Kong Nationals. Nathan and I were casting that. The grand finals, spoiler alert, had a Syndra that took great advantage of Claw of Vincerakai. Both have amazing gravy matchups. I've found that Hatchet Dory can have awkward turns against Gravy because you only have 2. Well, if you have Cleave, then you're actually fine. But if you're just relying on Blade Flurry and Spill Blood, you actually can't pump your first I almost said dagger, first hatchet that much, which makes things like if they have taunt or damage reduction, it can be kind of awkward to clear their board. Cleave is so sick. It's exactly 6 on the first hatchet to clear Chum Trigadori. Yeah, Cleave is actually the important thing. If you don't have Cleave in your Hatchet Dory deck, you need to put it in. For those of you who remember, back in the Dromai days, it was very, very, very important. Seeing this and my general feelings since I picked up Fang a bit, seeing people say Fang is the best warrior is funny. Kasai does what Fang is doing, but a little bit better. She's better on offense. She's better on defense. She has actual specializations, whereas Fang does not. I mean, you have Fire and Brimstone, and you have some power cards like Hunsen and Long Whisker Loyalty, but Kasai is just a better quality deck, especially with Riches of Triple Donnie. Oh, looks like we are dropping some frames. Let's see if we can fix that. Okay, hopefully we could recover there. Okay, looks like we're okay now. Yeah, Fi is good, but I think Kasai is just currently better. Fang, you have to run a lot of 2 blocks and no blocks, and sure, Kasai also has that too, but yeah, I think we're almost at a point like, why would you play Fang when Kasai exists? Um, I love Fang, but fine, Hatchidori just better right now. Damn. I think people don't take care of the allies because they're afraid of losing value from pushing damage on an ally and overkilling it. But you have to do what you have to do. Yes, a lot of people are not disciplined and they leave the allies around, which is one of the few ways that heroes that those board-based decks can get out of control. Dory doing well into Gravy and Syndra definitely makes her a dark horse. Yes, for sure. She's also good against. I wouldn't say good, but she's acceptable into Dio, acceptable into Prism, stuff like that. Nimby was supposed to save him. Well, I've actually played a little bit of him. I've started to cut back to like a less greedy Nimby Bolton list. Missed you last night. Yeah, I was dead tired. I'm still like, guys, you don't know how much like casting at literally 12-hour difference affects a man. On release, I thought Claw was mid, watched one game with it and realized it was cracked. Yeah, it says, Florian, you don't have a hero ability on Rune Chance, basically. If you want to make your pitch a blue, make Rune Chance swing, that doesn't work. Fi is more explosive than Syndra, just as consistent, has a fridge. Sure. Hey Josh, just want to share how bad my luck is. Oh no. Even when I'm lucky, I just discovered I won the Fab Weekly giveaway thing, a ticket for the beach party at Singapore. Unfortunately, I cannot go. Well, hopefully you can give that to somebody else. Although that, Singapore is a really cool place. And I'm definitely going to be jelly that I can't go there. Fi isn't more explosive than Syndra. Wrath alone makes Syndra way more lethal. I don't know enough about Fi and Syndra to make that distinction. Joe says Kasai is trash. Oh boy. That is a that is a statement. I think she's not too bad at the moment. And I've been a pretty big Kasai hater. Josh is playing Old Reliable. I see. Yes, Dory is the only queen left. Is this the counter to Gravy? Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, Hatchidori blocks insane between all the 3 blocks in the fridge. Yes. Yeah. Hatchidori has always had very, very good defense. Are you going to World Premiere Montreal in September? I'm going to try to go. Although, honestly, it being heavy hitters too and not having warriors makes me quite sad. But I will try to go to that. Also, I'll try to go to Kansas City as well. Kansas City is interesting because it's like just far enough that you could fly or you could drive. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Rake into Spreading Flames. You could easily get to 25, 30 damage range. I mean, you have Mopple, which is huge. I guess it's like Mopple versus MOM. See which one has more explosiveness. Okay, guys, I need to go do something. I will be back in about like 5 minutes, and then we'll do some deck building. Okay? If you guys have any more questions, leave them in the chat. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay? All right, guys, welcome back to, I almost said coverage of the Hong Kong National Championship. No, welcome back to Dawnblade Dorinthea for Pro Tour Singapore. So in the first half hour, I kind of set the stage in terms of the metagame. We talked with chat a little bit. Now let's get into the deck building section. Before I left, let's see if I could catch up with chat a little bit. Have I played Fang recently? I have a little bit, but I've been playing more Kasai and Dorinthea. Need you to go to Montreal so I can live vicariously through you. Sure, I'll bring you back something if I can. Play Mom and Lynx in Fi. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can play both. I'm just saying that Syndra generally plays Mom into everybody. I think. That's what Pudding told me. As Dory, I get sad against Gravy because my record is 7 counters that I can't get past it. Damn. If only there was an army of Ashwings for you to farm. Links on the Rake spreading turn gets wild. Yeah, you could. We saw that last week as I was learning Fi, that you could easily get 7-8 value from that. Play Hatchets, it smokes Gravy. If you have Cleave, I think that is the case, yes. If you don't have Cleave, it's actually way closer than it looks. I'd also say that 7 power attacks are also fairly important for Hatchet Dory, because you could send a 7 power attack at Wheeler. Kasai is boring, says Joe. I don't know about that. She's interesting to me because I don't play her a lot. If someone's told me they were a Kasai main, I would raise a couple eyebrows, though. Because you think about the other warriors, you could build them in a fair few ways, whereas Kasai, you can build her defensive or aggressive, sure, but like they know you're going to flip over Centauri Sabers. I guess you could flip over the Hot Streak, sure. Dory gets to side the Decimator, which fixed several matchups. Yes, that is a very good segue. Joe, thank you for that. I actually think we are in a metagame where it's correct to bring Dawnblade and Decimator. The reason being is there are several matchups that are very volatile if you run Dawnblade. What this means is we are not going to be running a YOLO Courage of Blade Hold, triple Glistening Steel Blade, triple Twinning Blade style Dorinthea. I don't think that's the correct play right now. I think you're about to... let's just get into the deck building. We are going to try to construct 60 cards for aggro and then dedicate everything else, probably mostly everything else, to fatiguing assassins. Because that's actually something we need to take a look at, is let's see. I have accidentally fatigued this hero several times. And I'm pretty sure if you are a dedicated not dedicated DGA, but you're a supported Dawnblade DGA deck, I think you can do this. Now, for those of you who remember, between Pro Tour 3 and Pro Tour 4, I advocated for running DGA into decks like Azuri because they just didn't have the damage output. Sure, they had some evasion, but they really couldn't push damage. And I think I want to take a look very carefully here Sure. Let's take a look at this. So this is the winning deck list from Florian Christian Logan Austria National Championship. I'm pretty sure the amount of evasion in this deck is not high enough to deal 40 damage or 50 if we're running like Fiddler's Green and Sigil Assaults. I'm almost certain this deck is a bunch of disruptive head jabs. Let's look very carefully here. Chat, if I'm crazy, let me know. But I'm pretty sure. Okay, so this is 3 with no evasion. 3 with no evasion. This is head jab. This is head jab. This is double head jab. This is head jab. This is head jab. Okay, so here we go. This is some evasion, but this only works on the blues. Okay. Kiss of Death, obviously very good. Big head jab, head jab, head jab, head jab, head jab. Okay, this is the first evasion we're seeing. Razor's Edge. Spike with Blood Rot. Okay, so 5 at the moment. Tarantula Toxin, obviously very good, but only really it gets its max life from Chelicera. So this is good, obviously. Good evasion. Take Up the Mantle, also, you could say. But I'm not seeing it where you add up all this stuff. I'm not seeing 40 damage. Especially against Dorinthea, they have to run these. They have to. Like you're absolutely crazy. Damien, am I crazy? Can a Dawnblade DGA Dory deck fatigue Slippy? Am I crazy? I feel like there's just not enough evasion in this deck list because there's Razor's Edge, there's Spike with Blood Rot, there's Tarantula Toxin, there's Take Up the Mantle, there's Kiss of Death pings, sure, Justin Nick maybe on like Bonds or something, but I'm not seeing 40 evasive damage. Now, obviously, they could side in their whole deck, but this kind of is giving me flashbacks to Azuri. You presented DGA as a Dawnblade deck against Azuri, and they just didn't have enough gas. If you have 9D reacts Dory. I think if you're running 6D reacts is risky, but I think if you have 9D reacts, I think you're okay. But that does take up a ton of slots. We're also going to give up the Kano matchup. So, okay, so that's my theory. And Joe, thank you for the segue there. Is that this is going to be a Dawnblade DGA deck. Also, if you meet degenerate Bravo decks, you could also bring this out, I guess. Okay. Could run Bracers or Iron Song Versus, but I guess if we're playing with Great Axe, this is a little bit better. I could see it either way. I think Bracers is a little bit better if we're playing aggressively. Grains of Bloodspill. This is going to be the only chess piece that we're going to run. Courage of Bladehold, again, is for a completely different deck build. Tunic, I think we're at the point where we don't really need Tunic that much. It could technically be possible, but you got to be real careful. You don't get hit by things like Double Trouble. Yeah. My assumption is that if Slippy sides in 54 plus Sink and Shelter, I think they just don't have enough damage. I think. So we'll see. We'll see. Especially because they have like 8 attack reacts. 11 if you count a few more. So, all right. Unfortunately, I think we need a Kabuto. It's just worth too much value against certain warrior decks. All right, we're gonna play Bolters, obviously. Crown of Providence is gonna be our typical helmet. Balance of Justice. Maybe. This is good against Prism, Gravy, Brutes. I don't know if we need this. I have a feeling we're not gonna have enough slots. Null Rune, I think we just run the I think it's just Null Rune Hood. I think we run AB1 and Prey. There's an argument to not running Null Rune at all, actually. There's an argument to just skipping Null Rune. Because remember, guys, we're building a tournament deck. So, Tunic is in the side for slower matchups. Sure. Yeah, okay, we'll put Tunic in the maybe board. I have a feeling we won't need it. As a Slippy main, I always side 65-66 against Dory because of fatigue. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is, like, is Dawnblade or DGA better at actual fatigue? Because Dawnblade requires, like, if Slippy slips up and we present, I think Dawnblade is a little bit quicker clock, but, like, DGA forces them to play blindly aggressively against us, I think. So it's also a better one card play. All right, let's see here. Okay, I just took a look at your list, Joe. It's very similar to my hatchet list that I'm running. I don't have Sharpen Steel or Lead with Speed, but yeah. It also has a DG in it. That's cool. Yeah, it's a nice list. Okay, let's start adding in, the no-brainers, and then we're gonna have a large discussion on what the Switch board is going to be. So at the moment, I don't think there's a lot of like auto include no-brainers, but I think the attack reactions are very set in stone at this point. I'm confident to say that these are the 12 attack reactions you should be running. I'm going to put Spoils of War and Sharpened Steel on the maybe board because these are cards that we might play. Steelblade Supremacy, obviously we're going to play. Unsheath, we're obviously going to play. Warrior's Valor, we're obviously going to play. Okay. So in terms of reds, I think this is like super standard. You could also make an argument to one of these Iron Song responses being in the sideboard. In fact, you could make an argument for two of the punctures being in the sideboard, or the Jagged Edge being in the sideboard, or something like this. Because you don't actually. It depends on the matchup. There's certain matchups where you need both. Certain matchups where you only need one. Let's just keep it simple. We'll keep them in the main board for now. Because we're trying to construct our 60 against aggro. We may need to tune this, but we'll see. Okay, so yellows. Singing Steelblade is obviously good. Twinning Blade is an interesting card. I think we need at least one. I could see an argument for like two, with one in the sideboard. Warrior's Valor, I think, is pretty important at the moment. I wouldn't leave home without at least 8 of them. Chorus is not needed in this metagame. Glistening Steelblade, I don't think you actually need this at the moment. So Glistening Steelblade was needed when there were ridiculous... This was before the book banning. This card was needed before the book banning against aggro decks. Nowadays, I don't think aggro decks are so explosive that you need Glistening Steelblade. I could see having one or two in the sideboard, sure. But this card is ultra clunky because it requires you to keep your whole hand, requires the correct hand texture, and often you need like vigor tokens and stuff like that to enable it. All right, Iron Song Determination, another card that I don't know if we need this. Obviously, it's very good against Florian, prevents the whole helmet situation from messing up your turn. But I'll put it in the sideboard. I have a feeling we're going to cut this because I have a feeling we need a lot of sideboard slots in the for this. How does Dory combat verdicts, pitch deck threats for later in the game? So I typically just run AB1 and go ham and try to get there. If the game goes too long, she will combo you out and kill you. Although, she may not be on combo because they are no blocks, and no blocks are bad. Sharpened Senses, this is a card that is actually not awful in Dawnblade Dory. I don't know if we're going to play it. I'm going to try to keep our yellows like really tight. Okay, so we got that. All right, blues. I mean, warrior blues are pretty standard. We just added the go again ones. Glint, hit and run. We probably play overpower, especially considering what's her face is gone. Precision press is good. Provoke is okay. I don't know if we run 3. 1 or 2 seems fine. Obviously, we play Blue Valor. We play Trot Along. So basically, we have a ton of go-agains in the blue base. Like the classic ones is Glint, Valor, Trot Along, Hit and Run. But I think adding Precision Press is also good now. Because the only way you lose to Gravy is when you don't draw Go Again, and Precision Press is Go Again. So, and in that matchup, you often have a cycling Vigor token. So this is this, even though this costs 1, it doesn't really make your turns that clunky. Do we want to nip at the heels? Probably at least 1. Okay, so what are we at now? We're at 61. Okay, so 49 here. All right, we got to add our D-React, Sync, Shelter. We could run Fate for Scene, or we could run that all you got. Think this is probably a little bit better. I don't know if this is the right meta for this, but I think it's okay. Could be live against some Syndra lines as well. Okay, so we have those. Now, I think it's important to talk about like how best to DGA people. Often that involves cards that heal like CYB, but CYB, the original version was DGA, and then Dawnblade CYB came about. That was actually the deck I took to Worlds. I felt very good about that. I'm wondering, I'm pretty sure there's life gain that exists. So like Sigil of Solace obviously is very good. I'm not sure. Put this on the maybe board. They also printed some new stuff from the last set. The Fiddler's Green. I don't know. This I mean, I guess it technically helps against assassins, right? Because it's this and That's All You Got feel like the same card, but like, yeah. Maybe we'll play this. I don't know. This seems like a lot of like hate against assassins, which might be the right play because they're. I I have a feeling in 9 rounds you're going to play against Slippy at least once. So okay. I'd never play Dawnblade without 3 Iron Song Determination. Is too good. Uh, let me think. So Syndra actually doesn't have a lot of armor. She wants to. She doesn't want to give her chest piece up until she gets some value from that. She never wants to give up her arm piece. If she ever gives up Mask of Momentum, you start disrespecting her. She basically has 1 armor. So, sure, Determination is probably good in this metagame. I don't know if it's a 3 of. I guess it combines very cleanly with Unsheathed and Supremacy. Okay, you convinced me. You convinced me. Okay, let's make sure we could get a clean 60 against aggro. I think we're close. So against Syndra, I would probably side out this and this. And obviously Jagged Edge is not very good against them, but I think we just need a density of attack reacts against them. Obviously, we could just block with a Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge, once we have a Vigor token, it's really, really smooth. Like, we prefer to go, like, Valor into these zero-cost attack reacts. But once we have a Vigor token from Grains, these both come online. So I think you're supposed to keep these in your deck. So I would cut Response and Singing Steel Blade into Syndra. Let's see. How many blues do we have? 21 is a little low. I would like 1 more. I don't know if we should go for another Provoke or... we could go for an Emboldened Blade just to be cute. I like this card. You play one of them, they start, you know, being nervous about the other ones. Nixie was on Fiddles for a while and ended up just going Oasis. Sure. I'm scared of Torrential Toxin. Yeah, I don't like that card. Talisman of Cremation. The one that if you buff by 1, it gets... No, that's Talisman of... That's a different one. What would we name with this? The Dagger? They would just pitch a blue in response and get it back to their hand, or back to their equipment zone, right? Okay, is there any card I'm missing here that's like ultra obvious and I'm being a potato? I think maybe 3 Warriors Valor Yellow is actually... We're in that meta game where all you need to do against decks that want to race is like Dio, Syndra. You just present Warriors Valor, swing, hold a card back. They have to assume, especially if you have a Vigor token, they have to assume that it's one of these. Even if it's not, you just Arsenal it and you just got value if they overblock it. Like, I think we're in a 9 Valor meta. Okay, 52 I think is actually very close to where I want to be. 73 right now. Okay. Sharpened Steel synergizes with a lot of stuff as well here. This might be... Sharpened Steel also synergizes with DGA, so I think that might be the play. Okay, I'm kind of liking this. Let's start making... So we're not quite at 76. We can make some sample matchups, though, just to test if this works. Okay, against Syndra, we're going to run this. Kabuto is very good. Prevents all those Wrath of Retribution lines. Okay, so 22 blues, which feels correct. So in this matchup, 55. Is Sick Below good against Syndra? I don't think so, right? Sometimes they attack for 4, sometimes they don't, but I guess it does clear your hand. We have a lot of sideboard cards right now, actually. That Slap Happy better than That's All You Got. What do you think about Burdens of the Past in Dorinthea? What deck plays 10 D-Reacts at the moment? The only deck that played 10 D-Reacts in recent memory is like Fatigue Bravo and Degen Florian, but they got banned. Okay, so if we don't play Glistening Steelblade and That's All You Got, and so let's assume we play Shelter, we play Sink, we play Glistening, and we play That's All You Got. This is too many cards. So that means our core is too large. We might not play That's All You Got, actually, just in the deck. In the 80. I really think this is not a Glistening Steelblade meta. Am I wrong, guys? Let's make a poll. I'm not sure. Should I run Glistening Steelblade in my DB Dory deck? Yes, no, unsure. All right, I posted a poll because I could see it both ways. Like, it's like a must block for Syndra. She doesn't have a lot of armor. If she doesn't have a D-React, she might just let it go. This is not good into Gravy. It says when this hits a hero, not hits an ally. If you're boarding That's All You Got, then Sync's gotta go. I think in order to pull off the DGA against Assassin, we need 9 D-Reacts. I don't think we can get away with 6. Every meta is a Glistening meta. Okay, interesting poll right now. A lot of you guys are unsure, just like me. You run it as a 1-of, try to get it to line up with Determination or Twinning. A 1-of might actually make the most sense because you never want to draw them in multiples. Wow. The chat is almost split 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 on the poll. Oh no. Guys, this is like using your poll, your Ask the Audience lifeline, and nobody's like saying, nobody's helping. Okay. We need to go back to the drawing board here. Okay, so the pros and cons of running it is it gives you a couple more go against sources against Gravy. It gives you a clock accelerator against Syndra. It can win you the game once you have a counter on it. because they often have to. It's much better with Twinning Blade, and right now we're only running one. So I don't know. Wow, you guys voted 33, 33, 33 exactly. Oh, God. It's not much help. Okay, so right now, another thing is that we don't have large attack reacts right now, which, except for route, we don't have an overpower, which is a little concerning. I feel like red overpower, you got to have at least one. This is tough. I think people misevaluate the value of this card. Let's say I have Glistening Steel Blade and Blade Flurry and a blue. And I go Glistening Steel Blade Swing. They give me 3, they get punished. If they overblock, it's the same as I played a vanilla 2 for 6 and they blocked. It's kind of like Command and Conquer in that it forces them off a larger hand. I guess that is the good thing, is that it forces them off a larger hand. So yeah. All right, we need Command and Conquer in our list, I think. I also have been liking Blanche, so we could add that. All right, now we're above the card limit. Uh-oh. Okay. Huh. Huh. Do we need 3 Jagged Edge right now? It's good against Earth, good against Prism, good against Oasis. I don't know if we need 3. I actually think we're in a metagame where we need less attack reacts than we think. Especially if we're just gonna, we're not gonna win against Florian. Like I don't know why we need. Why do you need Blanche? I feel like you need enough popper. I don't think 3 poppers is enough against Prism. Throw caution to the wind. Oh yeah. If they play Throw Caution, then yeah. When do you think we're getting disruptive cards, Josh? Hopefully in the next set that has 31 expansion slot cards. Sawbones, yeah, that's prevention. Sure. I'm pretty sure the hypergeometric says that we don't need more than 10 attack reacts. Which I know sounds crazy, but like, if we include Singing Steelblade, we have 13. 63% of the time. I think having an attack react 70% of the time sounds right. 15 cards, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, okay, yeah. That the math confirms my general feeling, which was like 15 attack reacts sounds about right. And we can actually board up to 15 if we want. So 31 Dory cards, surely, yeah. Why not just run Shunt and Tunic when running DGA? I don't think. Is Shunt good against assassins? It's okay against assassins, but their attack reacts go up by 3. So even cards like That's All You Got is actually very good against them. I cannot go below 15. Yeah, 15, I never did the math on it. It just felt correct. 15 just feels correct. This one's going to have less than 15 because against Aggro, I think you don't need 15. Okay, we need to make some cuts. We need to. Okay, so I'm gonna add AB to our list, and I'm gonna leave all these things down here. I think the overpower might not even be needed right now because we're not gonna do well into those matchups anyways. I don't know if we need 3 sharpened steel either. 22 blues just feels like the correct amount. We're going to keep our blue count the same. There's not really that many places to cut corners. It's 82 right now. I don't think we need a twinning blade either. And we could run one less. We could run one less glistening, I guess. Or we could run one less valor, one more glistening. I guess that's fine. Okay. Okay, this looks better. Let's make sure it's correct. So I don't think you run sync against Syndra, actually. Run this. I think you run that's all you got against them. $61, got a cut. You don't need the jagged edge, something like that. Okay, so is this a good 60 against Syndra? You got enough attack reacts. You got D reacts that are just good. You have some racing with glistening. You have access to a twinning blade. You have enough blues to support. I like this. I could dig taking this 60 into Syndra. How much of a role do you think Acilia will play? I think Acilia is pretty decent, but you just play aggro Dawnblade and just try to get there before they could see a Gone in a Flash and the combo piece. They basically need to see a Sigil of Brilliance plus Gone in a Flash. Snag better than That's All You Got? You might be right. You might be right. You might be right. It's also better against Florian because it's a 4-block blue. This also shuts down Bond's turns, which if you're presenting DGA against Assassin, they're going to go for Bond's turns with just an egg. So you might be right. You might be right, Zero. That's actually some high-level thinking there. That's actually very interesting. I thought with New gone we would take out Snag, but if we're playing DGA into the Assassins, Snag is actually better. Because if they don't get a giant Bonds turn off on us, what does Snag do against Syndra? Nothing. But we can just put in Sync Below. So we would just board like this. So we leave our poppers out. We leave our conditional reprise cards out. We cut a jagged edge. We cut our no blocks, and we just run like this. Do you guys prefer to see the list like this, or do you prefer to see the list like this? So now, yeah, okay, so we still have the balance of attack reactions. We have the racing with glistening. We have enough copies of Valor for consistency. We have access to our Twinning Blade. We have 60 reacts here. All our cards block, so we can block. Every card in our deck blocks for 3 or 4. So we can block MOM pretty easily. Yeah, this looks good to me. This looks good. Okay. All right, let's make another matchup. What's another popular matchup? Gravy? All right. Okay, we run this. Against Gravy, we want our stuff to go fast. These cards are not that good against him because he doesn't... We might need to play them anyways. 55. I actually think the snag for consistency might be better. Plus, we can... Yeah. You could also just go like this. I think this is also fine. Leave your defensive cards and poppers in your deck and just play like this. Like this against Gravy. Seems fine to me. The only thing that's a little bit worrisome is that the snag could theoretically get you into trouble in certain hands. But it also gives you a very consistent energy base of 25 blues. So you could put in the Command and Conquer maybe, or I don't know. You definitely play Blanche against them. If we don't play Blanche against Gravy, then this should be Battlefront Bastion. Right. I'm pretty sure, is the difference between 22 and 25 that big? 22 is 85, 25 is 89. But then you have so many yellows, you have bigger tokens. Maybe you don't, maybe you don't need the snag here. Do we need Blanche? So Blanche was used with Hatchet Dory to take care of Whaler. I don't know if I'm pretty sure Dawnblade Dory does not need Blanche. Although if they reset your Dawnblade counters, how often are you going to be going Dawnblade into Blanche? Doesn't seem very often. That's a good point, Aaron. That's a good point. This should be Battlefront Bastion, probably. Because Blanche and Battlefront Bastion are the same thing against Prism. It's just a crazy on hit, not for clearing. Yeah, for Hatchets, yeah. For Dawnblade, I don't think you're sending this that often as Dawnblade. Okay, let's change Blanche to Battlefront Bastion. I'm thinking too much in the Hatchet mindset. Okay. And I think we just add the snag, honestly. Having extra blues means more likely for us to have vigor tokens and not get into a situation where we don't have a blue. Yeah, sharpened steel is kind of the counter to Whaler, if you think about it, yeah. I mean, you could also just put any puncture or jagged edge when you have a counter on it, it clears it. Okay, so we got these two matchups done. So Syndrome matchup, clean 60. We don't have our poppers, we don't have our reprise, we don't have our snag. Gravy, we add in our go agains, we don't have our poppers, we don't have our D-reacts. Well, we keep talking about poppers, so let's go with Prism. Prism, I like to go second. Yeah, there's risk of them putting an aura on the board, but it is what it is. All right, so we just add our poppers in. I like the D-reacts a lot as well against Prism. I like to play this matchup very slowly. Block, 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 block. We don't need puncture against them, so we could take that out. And honestly, Sharpened Steel is probably not doing much in this matchup either. All right. Sharpened Steel is important when they have armor, because it combines well with Determination, Supremacy, those type of plays. Okay, something like this against Prism. So we add in our D-reacts, we add in our poppers, we cut some of the fat from our deck. Because you don't need a lot of attack reacts against Prism. They have a lot of no blocks. Like, you basically just keep very efficient hands, send it at them, block with your poppers, get tempo, use your D-reacts to counter their wraths. In general, I'm laying my hand down all the time against Prism. Like, if they send Herald into Herald, I'm like, block, even giving some of my armor. Like, make them work for all of the soul. All right, what else? We got Florian. That would be also a hard one. I don't know if going first or second really helps you. Technically, I think going first is a little bit better. Ever so slightly. I think you have to run Null Rune Hood against them because you don't want them to just get into a state where they can auto-win. 53, so here we obviously play our extra attack reacts. Snag is fine into them. Glistening is not amazing, but it's fine into them. Yep, same thing. We don't bring our D-reacts. We don't bring our... You could bring Command and Conquer, but I feel like you really got to snowball counters. It's going to be very difficult. Don't get me wrong. This 60 is not going to be... It's going to be like 20-25% into Florian, but it is what it is. Like I said before, we are building a tournament deck. We are not building a, like, try to win against everything deck. We got Verdance. I mean, Verdance is literally the same thing, right? Yeah, this is like literally the same thing. It's very rare that I group Runeblades and Wizards together, but corporate wants you to find the differences between these. All right, so we got Slippy. If we're trying to fatigue them, I guess we go first. Normally, you go second in this matchup. So this is one of the few DGA matchups. Yeah, run like this. And here, Battlefront Bastion is actually going to come in clutch because it's actually kind of like Fiddler's Green. This is actually quite good because you defend a dagger, and then it can also help prevent a flick. I think against Assassin, you might just jam everything. I'm not sure if this is correct, but this is how we used to do it in the old times against Azuri. We would just jam everything, block, 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 and swing. They're gonna hate us. Oh, Slippies are gonna hate us. Slippies are gonna hate us. I still play the CNCs into gravies. Good gravy will try to set up. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Like 85 versus 89 on the snag, plus extra block. Okay, yeah, sure. Plus, if you can swing, keep your counters, and then they think, oh, you're just going to swing, and you go swing CNC, like, you could get them pretty bad. Okay, sure. Plus, now we have 60 blocking cards. That prevents loot the hole, loot the arsenal. Sure. All right. What do you guys think about this Slippy sideboard? Bring the DGA, board 72, and just block until the cows come home. Bastion is better because the on-hit will likely be live. Vendals will never be live against Prism. Yeah, the tier list on 7 power poppers, I think, is actually pretty clear for Dawnblade Dorinthea. Let's see if we could find all those 7 power poppers. 7 or greater. So some people run Agile Windup. If you're running really aggressively with Twinning Blade, sure. Battlefront Bastion, I think, is way up there. Blanche, if you're running hatchets, might be better. But Battlefront Bastion is probably the best. Cut Through the Facade is not the right meta for that. Fendel's Fighting Spirit, like somebody pointed out in chat, if you're gaining a life against Prism, you've already lost. Plus, the Battlefront Bastion allows, if you were running Take It on the Chin, it allows the prevention plus Take It on the Chin to cover up a yellow Angelic Wrath. Sometimes that's relevant. Gore Belching combined with Rouse the Ancients, that was a good old combo. Yeah, nothing really else is like, sometimes you would see Raging Onslaught, but Battlefront Bastion, I think for most intents and purposes, is just better. They printed a full art, alternate art for a reason, guys. It's got to be good. Okay, we got 6 matchups. What do you guys in chat want to... what other matchups do you want to go over? I don't like removing reacts against Prism. ALS scares me. So the key to playing against Prism is to figure out where all their ALSs are, and then you can be aggressive. If you try to be aggressive against Prism, that normally involves playing multiple attack action cards, which gives them a window to ALS, and then you just got mega IP'd. -1 determination, +1 chorus. I don't think we need chorus. Chorus is like if you're being really aggressive against Prism. The good thing is that chorus lasts the whole turn, and it's yeah, it lasts the whole turn. That's a good thing about it. What is DGA in the sideboard for? Degenerate let's see. Let's just go take a look. Slippy, Huntsman, Mario, Bravo. I don't know if you should play it against Riptide. My opinion is that you got to get in there with Dawnblade. A good Riptide does not lose to DGA. Azuri. Yeah. Bravo and Assassins is your answer. I'm really liking Ripple Away in this meta. Ripple Away for what? Rally the Coast Guard? Rally the Rear Guard? Has to be Rally the Coast Guard, right? Yeah. Defensive 2 for 7 turns on Unsheathed. What do you mean turns on Unsheathed? The Unsheathed checks on attack. I wish Unsheathed was continually checking. Unfortunately, it's not written in that way. This card checks on attack. Very sad. Ripple Away for Gold Generation and Codex. So the thing is, oh, has Unity text, sure. Blocking with Chorus, I mean, I don't know. This deck list is fairly fluid. If you want to change things, it's not too hard. So yeah, something like this is what I would take to Pro Tour Singapore. Let me post this in chat for you. What day is it? 8th? Yeah. Make this public. All right, it's got a couple matchups there for you guys as well. Ooh. I'm not going, but I'm still trying to help Dorinthea players that are going. What's this deck targeting? What is it trying to avoid? I mentioned that a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but basically you're trying to target the aggro decks like Slippy, Syndra, Dio. You're okay into some of the mid-range decks, but you're unfavored into other ones. And then you have a decent matchup into decks like Prism, Ocilio. You obviously destroy Gravy Bones. Yeah. You think glistening is meta sensitive? That's a good time for it. Yeah, it looks like chat has generally agreed. Let's end the poll now. So chat is of the Unga Bunga lifestyle. 2 of these. You know, the only thing that annoys me is that this card still is not printed in foil. Come on, LSS. I want my deck to be full foil. Give me a glistening steel blade foil, please. Heck, you can make this on the prize wall, and I'll go farm tickets for it, okay? All right. I am still extremely tired from the casting of Hong Kong Jets, but let's play some games to show off the deck a little bit. I don't need to be fully awake against. I don't need to be fully awake when I'm playing Dawnblade Dory generally. Now, this is a deck that I do think is much better IRL. There's a lot of art to playing Dory. There's a lot of timing, body language, tone of voice, things that you can glean in IRL matches. Okay, against Azalea. So typically you'd like to go second against aggro decks. If they send a gigantic arrow on turn 0, you're going to be very sad. I'm going to take the riskier route and go second. All right. This is a matchup where glistening is. I mean, we can basically hit the Cinder button. It'll be fine. Yeah. So Cinder button basically moved our D-Reacts in. Took out a Jagged Edge. Took out some of our reprise stuff. Yeah. If you're aggro, you go first. Well, I want a harder game. I think in general you're supposed to go first, but I want to show a worst case scenario. This card hasn't been reprinted. It's only in the Versus deck. Yeah, exactly. It's very sad. All right, Blind Azalea. Let's go. Blind Azalea. You're playing my friend. He usually plays Dash. He is getting destroyed this game. Oh, no. Really? All right, so pitch to Rain Razors. That means the chance that this is Rain Razors is lower. It's not 0, though, that this is Rain Razors. He currently used his... I'm kind of liking just throwing the whole hand down here, playing around Rain Razors. How bad is it if we... It's not actually that bad if this is Rain Razors. We'll take 1 damage. We'll get an inertia, but we can just convert it probably into these. I think it's actually okay just to go like this. All right. Do you have a Codex? He does not. Okay. We did not draw a blue, which is a little sad. So I think we're supposed to go Valor Swing. We could play this and swing and then empty out our hand. That would come in for 8. That gives him a very obvious block, but... I mean, we're definitely playing this. Pitching a yellow gives a lot of information about our hand. I think we need to have a good supremacy turn, and I want that... Why am I on Kabuto? Guys, you're supposed to be playing Crown of Providence. This is supposed to be Crown of Providence. Oops. I hit the Singer button and it and it messed me up. Oops. No blocks. Sure. I'm gonna pass on all this stuff here. All right, so I think this is a slightly better setup overall, assuming that we don't get Red in the Ledger plus Seek and Destroy. I think it's good to set up for a Supremacy turn against Azalea. Okay, this hand is acceptable. Remorseless is pretty annoying because we're about to play 2 action cards. You heard James Blanco say it's not coming out in foil anytime soon, if at all. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. All right, there's half of the thing that I was afraid of. Okay, what? Okay, so this is a giant ass Remorseless. Okay. Okay, so I want to keep 2 cards, but it's going to be difficult too. Can we keep 2 cards? We got 7 armor, 11. Okay, so we could actually keep 2 cards here. It's coming off an arsenal. Okay, so we weren't going to switch any of the things in our hands, so Kabuto and Crown of Providence, the same thing here. Okay, so now we can basically bluff like we did last turn with the Steelblade Supremacy. We can just go Unsheath, swing, force him to either give us the Crunch Wrap or the Tunic, or 3 cards. We'll take that as well. And we basically are waiting for another Determination, and then we'll rip the Steelblade Supremacy. Or a Valor plus a blue plus an Attack React would also be sufficient. There was another line there where I didn't use the armor and just played out the Supremacy, and then used the Supremacy to fuel Grains tokens. But, I mean, whenever they come off an arsenal and I can keep some tempo, I'm pretty happy. By the way, Azalea is at 999 LL points. She is extremely close to LLing. If she LL'd at Pro Tour, that would be very poetic. She might even LL this weekend because there's a Battle Harden. I think there's several Battle Hardens. And the Battle Hardens often come with a Battle Harden plus a PTI event, or they are also called World Championship qualifiers. Okay, so he removes our Dawnblade counter, but we have full tempo now. And now we have a very, very beautiful hand. So let's see here. Trot into swing, because obviously he's not going to block with armor. So Trot, Supremacy, swing. Really only one way to play this hand. In fact, we want him to block with armor because we have a puncture, so playing the Precision Press is actually anti-synergy. If he blocks 8, we'll send the provoke to steal tempo, put the puncture into our arsenal. This is actually the 2 cards you kind of want on a turn where you have tempo, because it's like we could either, if they don't respect us, let's say they block 5, we get over. If they overblock us, we force them to mega overblock. This card is much better in dual wield warrior, as you can see in the art. He's carrying 2 weapons, I think. Or is that a weapon plus a cloak? I don't know. Looks like he has 2 weapons on his back either way. So, like, this is much better in dual wield warrior, but still very useful in Dawnblade Dory, because there's situations where gaining reprise or forcing a mega overblock and then twinning blade is really, really important. You love provoke? Yeah. M-I-L-P? Milp? Yeah, Milp. Man, I love provoke. All right, so that situation is going to happen. He blocked for 8. We get to play provoke, get his last card. So the release attention being held there means that this costs 0 or 1. Okay, we just put the puncture into our arsenal. Okay, we got a precision press for go again. We don't really need these 2 cards on the end here. Unfortunately, these cost a lot of resources, so maybe we do need to keep this. Because in order to have a turn, we need 2 for Dawnblade, 3, 4. We need 4 resources. All right, so he's likely to send red in the ledger at us. We have block with bracers plus shelter. And then we can have our turn. This Azalea is blocking a lot more than I expected. If Dory had a 9 to 5, what do you think she'd work with? I don't know. Maybe she'd be a weapons tester at an armory, at a sword making facility. A quality assurance agent. All right, no blocks, sure. All right, we can make a vigor token. And now this is the reason Grains is so good. We have the mix up. We can either play the attack react, or if he doesn't block, we make another vigor token. So now we're entering our next turn with a vigor token is very important. Because if we have a 0 cost, well, we don't have a 0 cost attack react, but we could basically protect our counter and then threaten an arsenal. All right, battering bolt. This is a thing that threatens our overpower. Because we lose all our cards other than, it also threatens our sink below. But I mean, we're going to block with those cards anyways, so. Okay, so we have to block with these cards, take 2, and then our turn is completely face up. If we do that, we could also block all these cards, swing with vigor, and Arsenal of the Supremacy is also okay. Is sinking the Supremacy for a 0 cost attack react worth it? We haven't seen a response or a Blade Flurry, so there's Supremacy is just so strong though with Bolter still up. We still have our Twinning Blade in our deck. We've seen one of our singings already, so I think we're just supposed to swing with our Vigor token. Force him to give us armor or 2 cards. Plus we're holding the card back. and we didn't sink. So that means we like this card. Now, he doesn't know why we like this card, but, you know. They're blocking with playable hands. Well, if they don't block, they're going to... This is already a very tough position for Azalea. The only good thing is that currently I have very little armor. But they are down 15 life right now. Technically, they're down 19 if... Yeah. I think he's going to 2-card block this. You don't 1-card block this, yep. Oh, baby. What is this? All right, so I think we're going to pitch the Glistening and just play the Supremacy, Determination, Swing, and then use our Bolters. We're just going to block here properly. We could go Grains here, or we could go double block. I guess technically this is a little bit better. Okay, so can we... Yeah, okay, so this is still a good way to do this. So we'll use our Bolters. He doesn't have 6 armor, or sorry, 3 armor. So unless he has take cover and uses his armor, we're going to get in. All right, so we draw first. We do want to blow Bolters. I think we're just supposed to swing and then play the puncture. We're gonna get a random arsenal, but I think that's okay. Yeah, blue hit and run, acceptable. We'll take it. Okay, this hand very good. Now we no longer have our Grains, so we are a little bit saddened by that. This is also sad here because we're gonna have to give 2 cards, maybe even 3. But we have a very, very easy way to keep our hand. If we have to give 2 cards, we give the Puncture and the Valor. We can just play this out. All right, so he put something. He put our. So this is going to be dominated red in the ledger. Annoying. So this is useless. And okay, so we'll take 2. And then we'll just swing the Dawnblade out. We'll have enough backup here. Very likely he's going to try to remove this with Tunic. So we actually might even get like mega value here. Okay, we just play both of these out, obviously. Protect our counter. Okay, so he activated Quiver because he drew 2 Rain Razors. His hand was double Rain Razor. And then, yeah, 2 cards that you didn't really want. Okay, we'll go Valor. Pitch this. Swing. It's just going to have to Arsenal pass unless this is Codex. Could go hit and run, sharpen determination, swing. Yep. Okay, codex, sure. Do I need all the cards in my hand? Not really, but having a nip in arsenal would be okay. So let's just take the damage. Oh. I could have swore I clicked on that. Why didn't it register? So he's going to give me a card plus tunic here, and then Nip will get over. If he doesn't, then this goes to arsenal, and then it's going to cause problems later. Super Slam comes out in September? Yes, it does. Do we have a list anywhere? If you scroll up in the chat, you should see it. Here you go. Just don't click the Syndra button when you're playing Azalea, or it'll give you a Kabuto. All right, so Route wins this game. We can block with these two cards. I mean, if this doesn't have an on-hit, we can just rip at this as well. Feels good to draw a route on turn 11, right, guys? All right, +1 to our virtual route. Good game. Oh my god, guys! I'm a struggle bus in here a little bit, to be honest. I'm still kind of tired, man, from the weekend. Clicking on bracers triggers the close of the chain. You have to click it again after the chain closes. Oh, route for the win! Yeah, we got a win with route. This channel is what helped me get better at Fab. You're welcome. We try to do that. That was a cooking. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Okay, guys. Normally, I try to stream for about 3 hours. I'm just too tired. So we're going to call it a little bit short today. I hope you guys enjoyed the meta analysis and the deck building and that one game. So we have some more streams this week. Nathan, Ed, and Will be streaming, and then hopefully we will have a team meta tier list event sometime later this week. So look out for that. We'll make some posts about that on socials and all that. Yeah. Sorry if I'm a little low energy today. I'm just trying to get back to normal. All right, guys. If you're going to Pro Tour Singapore, good luck. If you're playing Dorinthea and you want to chit-chat with me about things, go ahead. I'd love to talk Dory with you, help you out with something. Yeah. Signature card for the win, yeah. I gave out a lot of the signed routes, so yeah. Breakpoint special guest this week is Majid Bey, by the way. Yes, we have a new podcast on the channel. So lots and lots of content here at TheCardGuyz. I'm sure you guys will find something that you like, whether it be warrior, competitive, or just podcast or whatever. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Go enjoy the only queen left in the game. Take care.